Welcome to a deep dive into Star Wars and Philosophy Strikes Back. This is the way.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
We're going deep into your selections from this book,
Right.
uncovering all those philosophical gems hidden within the Star Wars saga.
Sounds like a plan.
So get ready to see familiar faces, epic lightsaber battles in a whole new light.
It's really remarkable when you think about it.
Yeah.
How this galaxy, far, far away, gives us this lens for examining, life's big questions.
It does.
We're talking ethics, we're talking technology, the nature of reality itself. Star Wars really delves into it all.
It does, and it does it with lightsabers and spaceships.
Exactly.
Okay, let's jump right into one of the themes you flagged.
Okay.
The Force and Taoism. What's the connection?
So the book, it highlights the Phantom Menace
Okay.
as like a case study in Taoism.
Okay.
Remember those hilariously wrong predictions?
Yeah, all the time.
Almost every character misjudges the future. You've got Trade Federation, the Jedi Council.
Even Jar Jar.
Even Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
Each one thinks they've got it all figured out, and, well, they end up spectacularly wrong.
And that's where the Taoism connection really comes in.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like the Force is telling us, hey,
Yeah.
loosen your grip on those meticulously planned spreadsheets.
Right.
Embrace those unexpected detours. You know, what seemingly impossible task in your life, might actually benefit from a little less control.
Right.
A little more trust in the flow.
It's about trusting the Force. I love that. So speaking of control, the book, it doesn't shy away from the ethical dilemmas surrounding technology in Star Wars, right?
Right.
Cloning, the Death Star, even Darth Vader's suit, they're presented, I don't know, in a kind of negative light. Like, is technology itself the enemy?
Well, that's where the book challenges us.
Okay.
To think more critically.
Okay.
It reminds us that tech in itself isn't inherently good or evil.
So it's all about how it's used.
Exactly. Take Anakin and General Grievous, for example.
Okay, yeah.
Both rely on technology to survive.
Right.
But their stories are presented so differently.
That's the classic cyborg dilemma, right?
Yeah.
You've got Anakin, tragically transformed by technology.
Right.
And then there's Grievous, who seems to embody this fear of technology gone too far.
Out of control.
Does Star Wars paint a fair picture
Well,
of the ethics of technological enhancements?
while Lucas, he aimed to show both sides, the book argues there's this undeniable bias
Really?
against advanced tech, almost linking it to the dark side.
Interesting.
Saving Anakin's life with tech only for him to become Darth Vader.
Right.
Versus Grievous's enhancements being portrayed as inherently evil.
Right.
It's a perfect example. It raises complex questions about
Yeah.
how we view technology's role in our own lives.
Like in healthcare.
Especially in healthcare. Think about it.
It makes you think about those what-if scenarios
Because-
about the future of medicine. Like, what if we could enhance our abilities,
Right.
prolong life, or even cheat death?
It's a lot to consider.
Would we celebrate those advancements or fear them?
Re-
Suddenly, Star Wars has us questioning the very fabric of our own world.
It's true, isn't it?
It's amazing.
And just when you thought we were done with the thought-provoking questions,
Right.
the book throws us another curveball.
Okay.
The clones.
The clones.
And the question of identity.
Okay, so this is where Star Wars and Philosophy Strikes Back really gets into nature versus nurture, right?
Absolutely.
Are clones simply copies, or are they individuals?
It challenges those assumptions about individuality.
Okay.
The book argues that even though they're genetically identical clones, they develop unique personalities.
They do?
They form bonds, they customize their appearances. They're not just mindless drones.
You're right.
Think about the Bad Batch,
Yeah, good example.
particularly Omega's observations about their living quarters.
Right.
Those little details,
Yeah.
like Crosshair's neatly made bunk,
Right.
or Wrecker's collection of droid parts,
Right.
they reveal so much about them as individuals.
It goes beyond just individual personalities.
Oh, absolutely.
Their actions, their choices,
Yeah.
especially when faced with Order 66, it makes you question
It's a big one.
the ethics of creating an army of genetically identical soldiers.
Huge ethical questions.
Yeah.
It really makes you think about free will versus programming.
Right.
Like how much of who we are is determined by our genes
Yeah.
versus our experiences.
Right.
It's fascinating.
It is. And speaking of fascinating, let's dive into The Mandalorian.
Okay.
It seems like this series, it offers a different perspective
Okay.
on those power
Oh.
dynamics that we see so often in the Star Wars universe.
You know, what's fascinating about The Mandalorian
Yeah.
is its exploration of love
Okay.
as a driving force.
Okay.
While the Skywalker saga,
Yeah.
it's often about these galactic empires
All right.
and these epic battles for control. Mando's story, it takes us on a much more intimate journey.
It does.
It becomes less about who wields the most power
Right.
and more about,
Yeah.
the power of connection.
Yes,
The
exactly.
power of connection itself.
Absolutely. It's like a breath of fresh air
Right.
in this galaxy full of Sith Lords
Yeah.
and Jedi Masters.
Yes.
Suddenly, the focus shifts to this bond
It really does.
between this lone bounty hunter and this mysterious child.
Yes.
And Grogu, the child, he becomes this incredibly powerful symbol.
It really does.
Right.
He represents something that challenges those traditional power dynamics
Okay.
of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
He embodies like this break from this cycle of power struggles that have dominated the galaxy for so long.
And Mando, he goes through such a transformation.
He does. He really does.
He starts out so rigid,
right.
bound by the Mandalorian creed, never removing his helmet, always adhering to the way.
Right.
But Grogu, he challenges all of that.
Their relationship highlights this tension between duty and love.
Yeah.
You know, Mando, he's constantly having to choose between upholding the Mandalorian code
Right.
and protecting Grogu.
Right.
And it all culminates in that pivotal moment
Yes.
when he must decide whether to return Grogu to the Jedi
Right.
or keep him by his side.
It's a huge dilemma.
Oh, yeah.
With huge implications. And it raises questions about the Jedi Order itself.
Right.
Are they really the best mentors
Yeah.
for someone like Grogu?
Right.
The book even suggests that the Jedi, with their emphasis on detachment
Right.
and emotional control, that they might not be the most nurturing environment.
That's a really compelling point.
It is. It challenges how we think about the Jedi.
It does. It makes you wonder.
Yeah.
Because they're often portrayed as,
Right.
the ultimate good guys.
Right.
But Grogu's story,
Yeah.
it makes us consider
Yeah.
whether their methods,
Right.
their strict adherence to the Jedi code,
Right.
might actually come at a cost.
Right. Right.
Is there a different path?
Yeah. Yeah.
One that values love and compassion as much as discipline and self-control.
It's that age-old philosophical debate. The head versus the heart.
There you go.
And you know the best part is,
What's that?
this book, it doesn't give us any easy answers.
It doesn't, does it?
It leaves us wrestling with these questions.
Right.
And it makes us examine those same dilemmas
Yeah.
in our own lives.
Absolutely.
You know, do we prioritize ambition and power, or do we try to forge a path
Right.
based on connection and love?
Right.
These are big questions that go way beyond Star Wars.
They really do.
Yeah.
And speaking of questions that resonate beyond the screen,
Yeah.
the book's exploration of droid sentience,
Oh, yeah.
it's fascinating.
It is fascinating.
Are these mechanical beings
Right.
just programmed machines?
Mm-hmm.
Or are they something more?
Right. This goes way beyond just Star Wars.
It does. It's like those classic science fiction stories that make us question
Yeah.
what it means to be alive.
Right.
To have consciousness.
To have a soul, right.
Right.
Is it limited to organic beings?
Yeah.
Or can AI,
Right.
can artificial intelligence achieve that same level of awareness?
It's a big question.
This book really dives into those implications.
It uses L337,
Oh, yeah.
that droid from Solo, a Star Wars story,
Yeah.
as a prime example.
Yeah, she's great.
She's not just some obedient servant.
No.
She's this fierce advocate for droid rights,
Mm-hmm. She's
challenging the very notion
right.
that droids are simply property.
It makes you think when you really listen to her arguments
It
of droid liberation.
It makes you question your own assumptions.
Totally. I mean, she leads a droid uprising.
Right.
That's a powerful statement.
Powerful statement.
The book draws some interesting parallels between her struggle for droid rights
Okay.
and, you know, real-world fights for social justice.
Right, right.
It makes you consider how we treat those who are different from us, whether it's based on race, or species, or even artificial intelligence.
And that leads us to another fascinating aspect.
Okay.
Music in The Mandalorian.
Oh, yeah. The music.
Ludwig Göransson's score.
It's so good.
It's more than just background music. It's practically a character in itself.
It really is.
The book argues that it helps to tell the story in a way that words can't. It's like a window into Mando's soul, even though,
Yeah.
we barely even see his face.
Right, exactly.
It's a great example of how music can really enhance storytelling.
It can.
It adds this emotional depth and complexity
Mm-hmm.
that words alone can sometimes just lack.
Totally.
Remember that feeling you get when you hear the theme
Oh, yeah.
of The Mandalorian for the first time?
Oh, it's so good.
It's like you're right there on the Razor Crest with him.
Absolutely. It's like the music.
Yeah.
It's tapping into something primal.
Yes.
Something that transcends language.
Absolutely.
What other examples from Star Wars can you think of when you think about the power of music?
The Imperial March.
Oh, classic.
It's a classic example.
Yeah.
It's so simple, yet so effective.
It really is.
Just a few notes.
Yeah.
And, Darth Vader
Oh, yeah. Here he comes.
is about to make an entrance.
It's so powerful.
From John Williams. He knew how to use music
He did.
to create a sense of awe and wonder
Right.
and even fear.
And that sense of fear, right? Like
Right.
music can be used to manipulate emotions.
Absolutely.
That's something the book explores too, isn't it?
It is.
It's like this reminder
Yeah.
that even something as, as seemingly benign as music
Right.
can be a really powerful tool.
It can be.
For good or for evil.
Precisely. Music can be this powerful tool for manipulation,
Mm.
whether it's a rousing anthem
Right.
used to inspire loyalty or some haunting melody
Right.
designed to evoke fear and obedience.
It really makes you think
It does.
about how music can influence us,
It's true.
both consciously and subconsciously.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's amazing how a few notes can just, completely change how we feel.
Yeah, it really makes you think.
It makes you wonder, like, what other simple things, right,
Right.
in our everyday lives actually have these hidden depths.
It's a good reminder to, never underestimate art
Yeah,
in all its forms.
right. Speaking of art,
Yeah.
the book's take on Sabine Wren's art.
Oh, yeah, she's great.
It's really interesting.
fascinating.
Her graffiti, her Mandalorian armor designs,
Mm.
it's all so, like, vibrant
Right.
and full of life. But it makes you think,
It does.
is it just about aesthetics, or
Yeah.
is there something more to it?
That's the question, isn't it? The book explores all these different philosophical theories of art,
Okay.
contrasting Sabine's work with more traditional forms,
Okay.
like that Calicori heirloom
Right.
passed down through Hera's family.
Okay.
It makes you think about,
Yeah.
the context in which art is created,
Right.
the culture it comes from,
Yeah.
the message it's trying to convey.
And then there's Thrawn,
Oh, Thrawn, yeah.
with his whole fascination with art
Yeah.
as a way to understand different cultures.
Right.
But he takes it to a whole other level.
He does. He takes it to this strategic level.
Yeah.
Almost like this obsession, right, with art, particularly art from the cultures he's conquered.
Right. Exactly.
It really adds a layer of complexity
It does. Yeah.
that makes you think about cultural appropriation,
Right.
the way art can be used for power
Right.
and control.
It's not just about beauty anymore, right?
It's not just about beauty.
It's a reflection of power.
Yeah, it's about power, historical context.
It makes you wonder if you can ever really separate
Yeah.
the art from the artist,
Right.
from the world in which it was created.
It's a tough question.
Yeah.
No easy answers.
It is a tough one.
But it's a question worth asking, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Just like the book's exploration of the Force itself,
Okay.
not just as this, mystical energy field,
Right.
but as this concept
Right.
with connections to, like, our understanding of reality.
Right. That's where the book gets really out there.
Yeah, it connects the Force to ideas from,
Okay.
philosophers like Spinoza
Yeah.
and Hegel.
It's pretty heavy stuff.
That's high-level philosophy right there.
It is. Yeah, it is.
The book makes these parallels between the Force and Spinoza's concept of conatus,
Okay.
this drive for self-preservation, for power
Right.
that exists in everything.
Wow.
It's like Star Wars gives us this whole new way
Right.
to see the universe.
Yeah.
Not as, like, separate objects,
Yeah.
but as this interconnected system.
It's like in A New Hope, right? When Obi-Wan tells Luke, the
Yeah.
Force is what gives a Jedi his power. It's an energy field created by all living things. It surrounds us and penetrates us. It binds the galaxy together.
Such a great quote.
It sounds so simple,
Right.
but it's so profound.
Really is.
It connects to all these philosophical ideas.
It does.
And you know what it reminds us? Whether we see the Force as this, mystical energy field
Mm-hmm.
or some kind of metaphorical representation of how everything's interconnected.
Absolutely.
It's this really powerful concept that makes us think about
Yeah.
our place in the universe,
I love it.
our connection to everything around us.
There you go.
Well, we've covered so much in this deep dive.
I know, right?
From the Force and Taoism to droid sentience, time travel.
Yeah, it's a lot.
The nature of art.
So much to unpack.
Star Wars and Philosophy Strikes Back.
Yeah.
This book, it's taken us on such a journey.
It's really incredible when you think about it.
It is.
How Star Wars, can
Yeah.
inspire these really deep philosophical reflections.
Right. It shows us that stories...
It proves that these stories...
Even one said a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away...
A galaxy far, far away.
...can hold a mirror up to our own world.
Absolutely.
They make us ask big questions.
They do.
They help us see ourselves
Right.
and the universe in new ways.
I'm so glad we did this.
Me too.
This is fun.
So, to our listener,
Yes.
as you keep exploring this book,
Please do.
remember, every lightsaber battle,
Yes.
every philosophical debate,
Every musical cue.
it's all an opportunity to discover something new,
There you go.
to challenge your assumptions,
Absolutely.
and to really see how connected our world is to that galaxy far, far away.
I love it.
May the force of philosophy be with you.